One of the most amazing things about God is that he is omnipresent. That means he is with us all the time, all the time. He's with us in the bad, he's with us in the good, he's with us in the mediocre. But in the darkest of times that we experience, he is there always. And even when we're in those dark times, he can help us. He can help us experience abundant life when we go through it with him. The Apostle Peter was an amazing example of this. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link to another video to just share some inspiration from his story. And I encourage you to check it out. If you like this content, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. That will help get this out to more people. Now, I want to share a short personal testimony just of a time when I was in a dark cloud. And I have to give a little bit of background in order to kind of set up the story. So I had been in a job for about a year and a half, and I really felt like God had led me to this job. In fact, he had spoken to me about it again and again and again until I just had to take the job, or I was just not going to be walking in what he had for me to do. And this job was really hard from the get-go. It seemed like the second that I got there, like all of the gifting they had given me administratively and, just to think things through, it kind of felt like that just lifted off of me. And I didn't actually even realize that it was like that natural gifting I thought was natural gifting was actually a gift from God. And so what ended up happening during this job is I just made silly mistakes all the time, things that I never would have made in previous jobs. And so I was getting in trouble all the time. And so it had been a really difficult year and a half simply because of that. And it was hard. I didn't like and what the whole situation was. And in fact, it was really a year and a half where God was trying to work perfectionism out of me, is what ended up happening. But I'm setting that up to say this. At the end of that year and a half, I don't even remember what happened, to be honest with you, but there was a major blow up with my boss. I mean, a major blow up. And I was accused of all kinds of things that I literally was flabbergasted over. I couldn't believe that my boss saw in me what was being said. And I was bawling. I was bawling. As we were there, my boss ended up walking out of the meeting because of just being so completely upset over it. I ended up leaving too, and it was horrible. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible ending to the job. There was one other conversation that I can remember that happened after that, and again, it to me it just felt like vitriol that was coming through the phone the entire time. And I don't hang up on people. That is not what I like to do, but I really felt in this situation I just had to end the conversation as best as I could because it was just so awful what was being said. And I'm not sharing about the ins and the outs of what was right, what was wrong, who did right, who did wrong. That's not really the point. The point of it is that I this job ended in a way I never thought a job would end for me ever. And as you can imagine, I was bawling. I mean, just bawling for days. I remember even the day after the job ended, my roommate was invited to a party that I ended up being uninvited to because of what had happened. And so it was just pain, loneliness, rejection. The person I was working for was someone I looked up to. So it was just frustration and confusion over all of that. There was also just concern about finances, of course. I mean, it was a really, really dark time. And I remember in the morning waking up, and all of a sudden I had this song in my spirit because I was praying the night before, like, God, I know you're here with me. It doesn't feel like the job is supposed to end this way. You led me to this job, and I'm really confused as to why you would have led me to this job when it would end this way. And of course, I wasn't blaming it on God, but just was confused over it. And the next morning, I woke up in the morning with a song in my spirit that was called Brand New Day. And I was just singing it over and over and over and over again. And I didn't really believe it, but I also knew that the Holy Spirit put that song in my spirit. And as I kept bringing myself to God over what was going on, He would just give me moments of encouragement like that. There were other people who were praying for me and who God would speak to them, and they would call me and they would encourage me at just the right time, just when I needed to hear an encouragement from God to keep hanging on. And even though it was hard, I chose to continue to spend time with God, talking to him about it and just asking him to renew my mind over the things that were coming up that I was believing about myself and the situation that I knew wasn't true. But also too, realizing I need to forgive, even though it was really hard to forgive. I needed to have hope that there could be reconciliation, that there could be restoration. That couldn't happen without believing God for that. And so, it wasn't perfect. The relationship didn't get restored completely to what it was before. But what I can say is that the time that I had with God is what enabled me to not give up hope and to believe God for a good future, even though things had happened the way they happened. So, for anyone who's listening to this, I don't know what you're going through, but if you're going through a really difficult time, I want to encourage you to not isolate yourself away from God, but instead lean into Him. Bring yourself before him. Let him speak to you. Let him whisper to your spirit. Let him encourage you from the scriptures. Let people pray for you. Spend time with God. He's going to carry you through. Now, if you want to listen to a little bit more inspiration from the life of Paul and another personal story, I want to encourage you to check out the video that I'm going to link to at the end. And also, I want to encourage you to stick it through all the way to the end because I have a meditation at the end from First Corinthians that's going to help you just ponder either if you're going through doubt, fear, exhaustion, unbelief, hopelessness right now, or you have before, just lead you through a meditation with God to process that. I hope this encourages you. And if it does, please like, share, subscribe, all the things. It's going to help me get this out to more people. Thanks so much.